And so part of what he is saying is that our history is before Egypt. Our history, who we are, quo vadis, where are we going? Most of us start out with slavery. Then we go back to Africa. But our history was the light. And what is light? Energy. Right? Energy. And we were able to do fantastic things with energy. But we don't believe we're capable because we've been trained. We've been trained well. So we start off putting our children in a system that we personally don't want to function in. But it's the system that we know. And I just talked with Kimberly earlier, and we talked about Willie Lynch. How do we get to know who we are? How do we know? Now, this brother has said he's a teacher. Well, you got two up here. I've been involved in education most of my life, since I was 19. The kind of teaching that I did was not through the public schools. I was teaching, I ran those of you that have lived in Boston, I ran what they called the Nation of Islam University. I got to administer an innovative school for the state of Massachusetts. I too have taught in colleges and all this. You square, that's okay. But we never lost who we are. And that's what we can teach our children, and that's what we can teach you. My concern and what I came today to say is stress will kill you. We have been stressed all our lives. They have a report and a science called epigenetics. E-P-I, and then genetics. Now, epigenetics says that they can go back 400 or 500 years, and if there was a trauma then, they can pass that DNA all the way down to you. They know that. They have proven that. So, y'all acting up is a part of the trauma that we experienced where people kept their mouths shut so you could be here. Where people refused to fight back so you could be here. They paid a price so you could be here. Now it's time for you to understand. Are you willing to acknowledge the price and move on? Don't keep talking about, well, what they did to me or what they did to us. I've been there. I know what it's like to have your friend shot because he won't get off the sidewalk because a white woman is walking. I know what it's like to go to the bathroom because they don't have black bathrooms, only white only, or drink. I've been there. That's not my problem. My problem is, quo vadis, where are you going now? My presentation was going to be about how this planet was one, right? Most of you know that. This planet was one. Water came down, it expanded, expanded, expanded. So we know at one point we were all one. The expansion they're finding are civilizations under the water. Civilizations under the water. Now the interesting part about that is they're thick-lipped, big nose, curly hair people in the water. They're in the water. So I ask myself, where are we going? We're on top land. We're here now. How do we make the difference? Now I want to talk about stress, because stress, what they have proven, is that 1 minute of anxiety and stress destroys 5 hours of your immune system. So you're a nice man and a nice woman, and then 10 years down the road, you end up with cancer. You end up with tumors. And you say, well, why do I have this? I'm a good person. I haven't done anything, but you did. You planned your demise. You planned it. So the next time you get angry and you want to show people how you feel and what you think again. Think again. Because stress is not something we should be about. That should not be. It was not the way of our parents. And it was not the way of our forefathers, or 4 mothers, or 5 mothers and 5 brothers. I don't care. It was not their way. That's why we have survived. It was our humbleness, but it was our intelligence. And you've all heard the story of the brother who was going down the road and he was bringing massa. And there was a stop sign, and if he stopped, it would show him he could read, and if he didn't stop, he'd get killed. We have always been able to survive. We have to survive. I was going to wait for a while, but I want to do something, and I'm hoping people will be comfortable with this, because again, I speak of energy. When I was trying to do this 2 years ago, they said I was teaching voodoo. And people, black folks, were upset. Now I hope you all don't get upset, because I want to talk about energy and vibrations. We have this. We are born with this. Everybody, every human being, every plant, everything on this earth has vibrations. Trees, grass, everything has an energy and a vibration. The question now becomes, what are you doing with yours? That's why I say quo vadis. It's Latin, but it means where are you going? Have you thought about where you're going? What choices have you made? Are you thinking? And that's something we don't do. We're responders. Just tell us something happening. We're right there. Tell us what's going down. We're going to make sure we're on TV, we get seen. But now I'm here to tell you, you have to think. What am I doing? Now, I'm going to do an experiment. I want you to take a breath. Just listen first. Take a breath. Think of it coming through your heart. Count to 5, and then let it out through your mouth. All right? This experiment. You're going to take a breath through your mouth, through your nose. Think of it coming through your heart. Count to 5. If every time let it go, somebody cuts you off on the street and you go, you just saved yourself 5 hours of your immune system. And you can do that. It will save your life. It will cut back on any kind of medicine you've been taking. It helps to lower cholesterol. It helps to lower blood pressure. It will help you if you do it every day, at least 10 times a day. You should do it more, but at least 10 times until you build a capacity such that you don't have to think about it. It's automatic. It's automatic. We need to save ourselves. We need to get better about how we deal with ourselves. Now, energy and the vibrations are something that has been a part of our history. Our history. When there was training for the Europeans, they took out touch, taste, feel, hearing, and what else? What are the five senses?
Smell.
What they couldn't see, they called paganism. And you all picked it up. Yeah, that's paganism. Those pagans. They never understood energy and vibrations until they got technology that said, hey, maybe this stuff, the Curlian photography, just maybe, there might be something out there. We called it spirit. In psychology, and I'm in psychology, they are just now beginning to say there's something out there, but they don't call it spirit. They call it vibrations, mindfulness. They call it everything but what we've called it, which is spirit. Why? Because we're comfortable with spirit. Spirit is our religion. Spirit is who we are. When we close the gap between ourselves and our God self, then we are able to do what our ancestors did. We're not there yet. We're still striving to talk about getting out of where we are. Now let's talk about that process. If I talk about Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump, what am I doing? I'm putting it out. I'm giving him energy. I'm giving him all the glory that he thinks he needs. Is that my job? Should that be what I'm doing? So when Black Lives Matter, we need to ask ourselves, what am I doing to the black life that I have that matters? What am I doing? Because if I'm not taking care of me, how can I be running up and down the street screaming, Black Lives Matter? And I have nothing against you. You want to march? That's fine. I've not benefited from it so far. I'm 77. So, I'm not there yet. But still, I want to know, what are you doing? Now, the brother said he worked with young people. I was fortunate enough to work with 1,800 children 2 days ago. And I was upset because they had a group come in to talk about suicide. 80% of the students were people of color. 100% of the people speaking were not. And so they asked them, why don't you come on up? If you have a problem, you can go to the back, somebody there will help you. How many people do you think that? Zero.
Good.
We still haven't got to the point where we expose ourselves. There were a lot of children in that room. You could look in their eyes and see they needed help, but they didn't get out. Now, what do you call that? Osmosis or training? We still have not gotten to the point where we will sit down with a psychiatrist or a sociologist or whatever to help us through. So we need to start helping ourselves. We need to do this. We need to make a difference. And you make a difference by being the very light that started this whole thing. The energy, the vibration. That's where we need to go. I won't argue with you about religion. I'm not going to argue with you about politics. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm concerned about You say Black life matters. What are you doing with your Black life? What do you want to talk?